Within you, there's a quiet calling, an ancient desire to prosper, to finally feel that your life has entered the right flow. You feel a deep, inherent sense of worthiness, yet your financial reality often contradicts this truth. This dissonance is exhausting. For too long, you've been conditioned to believe that true wealth depends solely on a grueling combination of iron will, relentless effort, logical strategy, and sheer brute force. The world taught you to trust only what is immediately visible: the balance sheet, the quarterly report, the endless to-do list. You were instructed to ignore the most powerful, subtle force shaping your reality, the internal climate that determines what stays and what goes, your energetic vibration. And this is precisely where your current story creates conflict. You recognize the effort you expend. You work diligently, make smart plans, try desperately to control every variable and every dollar, yet you constantly feel stuck in a repeating pattern. It's that sensation of the financial loop. You achieve a milestone, only to immediately face an unexpected expense or a period of inexplicable downturn that pulls you right back to square one. There is an invisible block, something you cannot see with your eyes but can distinctly feel in the pit of your stomach, preventing prosperity from entering your field and staying there comfortably. It's a low-frequency state, a dull hum of anxiety and inadequacy that seems to repel the very opportunities you are chasing. This tension intensifies when you sit down and compare the sheer magnitude of your effort with your actual, measurable results. You give your absolute best, sacrificing time, sleep, and peace, yet the financial return doesn't seem to match the intensity of the outgoing energy. Doubt begins to whisper insidious questions. What crucial thing am I overlooking? Why does this seem so easy for others, but so hard for me? Am I fundamentally flawed? The answer, however, is not in the specifics of what you do with your hands, but in the internal frequency you are constantly emitting from your core being. The pivotal turning point in your financial journey arrives the moment you discover the fundamental, liberating truth about prosperity. Wealth is, above all else, frequency. The universe, the market, and opportunity itself respond to your vibration, not your exhaustion. If you are vibrating desperation, frantic effort, or deeply rooted shame, you will attract circumstances that confirm those vibrations, even if your conscious mind is trying to strategize its way to millions. The energy of "I need this" is inherently different from the energy of "I welcome this." One pushes away, fueled by lack. The other attracts, fueled by certainty. You need a quantum formula, simple yet profound, that allows you to consciously and intentionally align your internal energy to the frequency of genuine, sustainable abundance. Today, we move past the surface-level strategies. We are going deep. We are going to analyze the vibrational state you emit right now and how that energetic blueprint shapes your financial reality with astonishing precision. We will understand how your prevailing emotions, your ingrained thoughts, and your most unconscious behaviors create an energetic field that acts like a powerful magnet, either attracting high-value opportunities or repelling them entirely. This is about mastering your inner technology so that abundance stops being a chase and starts being a consequence of who you are. The shifts we discuss will not only clear the financial congestion you feel, but will cultivate improved clarity, stronger intuition, and profound sense of inner alignment. You will begin to feel as though your energy is finally moving in the same direction as your deepest financial dreams. Your new reality, built on the solid foundation of high frequency, begins right here, right now. To step into this new frequency, we must first confront the ghost in the machine, the belief system. Your money situation is never truly about money itself. It is a perfect mirror reflecting your deepest, most often unconscious, relationship with worthiness and safety. Where did this low-frequency programming begin? Long before you ever earned your first paycheck, your subconscious mind was busy absorbing an entire financial identity from the environment. Think back to your childhood. Were finances a source of hushed, stressed conversations? Did your parents view money as something inherently evil, something that changed people for the worse, or conversely, as something perpetually scarce, requiring immense sacrifice? These early observations, the ambient noise of your financial upbringing, laid the foundational wiring of your nervous system. You learned that wealth came at a cost, perhaps the cost of integrity or the cost of family time, or simply the painful cost of endless worry. These narratives were inherited, not chosen, yet they operate today like a firewall, screening out any financial abundance that contradicts the original programming. If your subconscious mind believes that having $10,000 in savings means you are suddenly vulnerable to theft, or that becoming financially free means abandoning your roots or changing who you are, it will actively, though unconsciously, sabotage your efforts to reach that goal. Your mind is simply trying to keep you safe, operating on outdated, fear-based data. It hears the vibration of, I want to be rich, but it feels the undercurrent of wealth is dangerous, and it defaults to the known, safe scarcity. The first, crucial step toward vibrational mastery is to stop the blame cycle and start the excavation. You must become a forensic analyst of your own limiting beliefs. You must pull these beliefs out of the shadows, examine them in the daylight, and ask, is this narrative true for me today? Or is this just the emotional residue of my 9-year-old self reacting to my parents' arguments? Until you shine the light of awareness on these hidden programs, they will continue to broadcast a low, anxious frequency, regardless of the high-energy affirmations you repeat or the perfect budget you draft. True transformation isn't about adding a new tactic. It's about subtracting the noise that keeps you disconnected from your inherent abundance. Once we identify the source of the noise, we must actively dismantle the financial myths that uphold the low-frequency state. Many people operate under what I call the scarcity trifecta. The first myth is that money must be earned through suffering. This belief ties your worth to your exhaustion, making effortless flow seem suspicious or wrong. When money comes easily, you feel anxious, believing you haven't paid enough for it. We must replace this truth with, prosperity flows when I am aligned, not when I am drained. Effortlessness is the natural state of high-frequency attraction. The second insidious myth is that there is not enough for everyone, and therefore, I must hoard or fight for my share. This mentality puts you in direct competition with the universe, keeping your frequency tight, defensive, and constricting. We replace this with, the universe operates on limitless supply. My wealth is an expansion that creates more opportunities and value for those around me, circulating energy rather than stifling it. This shift transforms money from a finite resource you must grasp into a flowing, abundant energy you direct. The third great myth is the most damaging to your sense of worth. I am fundamentally unworthy of great wealth unless I achieve perfection. This ties prosperity to external metrics and self-punishment. If you make a mistake, you immediately contract financially, convinced you deserve a down-earn. The new truth is, my worth is inherent and absolute, independent of my bank account or my mistakes. Abundance is my birthright, and I am learning to manage it with grace and increasing skill. By breaking these myths, we are literally clearing space in your energy field. We stop broadcasting the signal of lack and begin broadcasting the open, receptive signal of inevitable success. This energetic clearing is the prerequisite for the practical shifts to take root. Now that we have created energetic space and established empowering truths, we must ground this high frequency in daily, tangible actions. This is where mindset transforms into ritual, and ritual becomes reality. Shifting your mindset is not a passive activity. It requires consistent, intentional input that recalibrates your emotional center. Start with the highest vibrational tool available to humanity, genuine gratitude. Gratitude is the immediate antidote to scarcity. You cannot feel truly grateful and feel deeply lacking at the same moment. Take 5 minutes every morning and 5 minutes every evening to document things you are truly grateful for, not just conceptually, but tangibly. The comfortable chair you are sitting in, the stability of your health, the warmth of the coffee. Focus especially on the money and abundance you already have, no matter how small it seems. This shifts your brain's focus from lack detection to opportunity recognition. Next, implement high-frequency visualization. This is not daydreaming. It is neurological programming. close your eyes and vividly embody the future financial you. See not just the result, the account balance, but the feeling. How does the financially free version of you stand? How do they speak? What is their emotional baseline? Practice living in that vibration for 10 minutes daily. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined event and a real one. By repeatedly subjecting yourself to the feeling of prosperity, you train your body to operate on that high frequency, naturally pulling you toward corresponding opportunities. Finally, practice conscious receiving. Abundance often presents itself in non-monetary forms. A compliment, an unexpected free hour, a helpful piece of advice. Too often, we dismiss these small gifts, effectively telling the universe, I only want the big checks. Train yourself to consciously pause, acknowledge, and say, thank you for these micro gifts. This act of acceptance opens the energetic floodgates. By integrating gratitude, visualization, and conscious receiving into your daily rhythm, you turn your life into a high-frequency transmitter, constantly sending out the signal of alignment that attracts synchronized events and financial elevation. As you embed these high-frequency rituals, your identity must evolve to match your vibration. You are no longer the struggling seeker. You are the conscious attractor. This is a stage of financial self-mastery, where prosperity is tied not just to your ability to earn, but to your emotional maturity and purpose. Claiming a new financial identity involves making a commitment to stewardship, not just accumulation. The conscious attractor understands that money is energy, and energy is meant to move. Wealth is attracted to clean, purposeful channels. The most powerful question you can ask yourself in this phase is, if I were already operating at the frequency of abundance, how would I handle this decision? This instant identity shift elevates your decision-making. The high-frequency self isn't paralyzed by fear of loss. They are empowered by the knowledge of replenishment. They invest confidently, not carelessly. They give generously, knowing that giving is the ultimate expression of trust in universal supply. They manage their resources ethically and intentionally because they recognize that their prosperity is meant to serve a higher purpose, to amplify their impact and support their values. This identity shift means moving away from the vibration of, I hope I make money, to the certainty of, I am a conduit for immense value, and money is a natural feedback loop. It requires emotional courage to sustain the high frequency, especially when old fears surface. When doubt whispers, gently remind yourself, I am not waiting for external validation to feel wealthy. I generate the feeling of wealth internally, and the universe reflects that feeling externally. Your prosperity becomes an expression of your emotional wholeness, a deep alignment that makes financial flow inevitable, not accidental. You become the person who not only attracts money, but manages it with wisdom, grace, and unshakable confidence. The final, essential step in this quantum formula is the deep, cellular reprogramming and the unwavering commitment to emotional alignment. You have done the work of awareness, myth-breaking, and identity claiming. Now we seal the deal. Your financial transformation is an evolutionary process, not a destination. It requires consistent self-monitoring to ensure your vibrational dial hasn't slipped back down to the old anxiety station. Take a deep breath now, focusing on the center of your chest, where your feeling of worthiness resides. Visualize a powerful, radiant light emanating from the center, a light that represents your highest, most abundant frequency. This light is strong, clear, and steady. Now, in your mind's eye, see this light extending outward, enveloping your bank accounts, your career, your financial decisions, and your future investments. Feel the warmth of certainty and the lightness of flow wash over your entire financial life. Repeat this powerful affirmation until you feel it resonate in your bones. I am financially sovereign. I am a magnet for aligned wealth. I trust the flow of abundance, and I allow prosperity to enter my life with ease, joy, and purpose. This commitment is a sacred contract with yourself. It means choosing the high-frequency response over the fearful reaction every single time. It means treating your money not as a source of stress, but as a vital life force you are managing with mastery. The financial universe is now listening to a new signal coming from you, a signal of gratitude, certainty, and open reception. This shift changes everything. You have activated the quantum formula for wealth. Commit today to sustaining this vibration, knowing that every aligned thought, every grateful pause, and every confident decision deepens your connection to the limitless stream of abundance. Go forth, not merely to succeed, but to thrive in your highest, most powerful financial frequency. Your journey to mastery is fully underway. The transition from holding an elevated frequency in your mind to consistently anchoring it in the material world requires intentional physical architecture. It is not enough to simply visualize a clear financial path. You must also eliminate the energetic friction in your immediate environment that constantly pulls your vibration back down. Consider the principle of environmental congruence. If your internal dialogue is declaring wealth and order, yet your financial documents are scattered, your digital folders are chaotic, and your wallet is stuffed with crumpled receipts and expired cards, you are broadcasting a mixed signal. This visual and physical disorder acts as a powerful low-frequency anchor, telling your subconscious mind that money is stressful, unmanageable, and fundamentally something you disrespect. Consequently, your next action involves a thorough audit of your fiscal landscape. This isn't simply cleaning. It's an act of deep reverence for the energy of exchange. Take deliberate time to organize your entire financial system, physical and digital. Create a designated space for handling money matters that feels calm, efficient, and inspiring. When you treat your current, emerging resources with meticulous care and clarity, you are signaling to the universe that you are fully prepared to receive and steward much more significant amounts. The organized desk, the streamlined budget dashboard, the cleared email inbox related to bills. These aren't administrative tasks. They are powerful vibrational statements of capability and readiness. Building upon this external order, we must also refine the internal feedback loop related to spending. Most people track what they spend. High-frequency masters track how they feel when they spend. This is a practice of emotional accounting or determining the vibrational return on investment, VROI. Every transaction carries an emotional echo, guilt, anxiety, satisfaction, or necessity. You might spend $5 on a quick, regrettable impulse. By that leaves you feeling depleted, generating a VROI of 0 or even negative. Conversely, you might spend $500 on a course or a tool essential for your growth, a transaction that sparks excitement, confidence, and a sense of forward momentum, a highly positive VROI. By consciously tracking this emotional energy, you swiftly identify the hidden leaks, where your money leaves you feeling worse rather than better. The aim is not to restrict spending, but to radically pivot all allocation toward decisions that affirm your abundant identity and elevate your emotional state. When you allocate resources strictly toward joy, growth, and genuine necessity, eliminating the low-frequency spending fueled by distraction, avoidance, or self-sabotage, you inherently raise the frequency of your entire bank account. Your money literally begins to work on behalf of your highest vibration. Furthermore, we must address the subtle, insidious language habits that block opportunity. Pay acute attention to the phrases you automatically use when presented with something desirable or challenging. The phrase, "I can't afford that," is a financial death sentence. It is a declaration of lack, a statement of finality that shuts down all creative pathways. Instead, cultivate the habit of immediately replacing that language with a question of possibility. That looks inspiring. How might I create the resources to acquire that? Or, what specific value must I generate to justify that investment? This seemingly simple linguistic shift is psychologically revolutionary. It moves your brain from the defeatist scarcity center to the problem-solving center, prompting your intuition to search for pathways rather than confirming limitations. Consequently, you start operating with the understanding that financial gaps are merely design challenges awaiting elegant solutions, not brick walls marking the end of the road. This practice of linguistic reframing reinforces the high-frequency identity, the identity of the resourceful problem solver who is inherently capable of achieving anything. Adopting these habits, environmental congruence, emotional accounting, and linguistic possibility, transforms your abstract mindset work into concrete, repeatable behaviors, solidify your alignment with wealth, and making your abundant future a matter of inevitable momentum. Reflecting on this journey so far, perhaps you now recognize that the true crucible of your financial life was never the tumultuous market or the stringent budget, but the landscape of your own inner dominion. The work you have undertaken is transformative, less like constructing a new financial building, and more like meticulously recalibrating an observatory. Before this awareness, the telescope of your attention was inevitably pointed downward, focused only on the dust and limitations of the immediate ground floor, magnifying scarcity and perceived lack. Now, having meticulously cleaned the lenses of inherited bias and stabilized the foundation of your daily routines, your focus has fundamentally ascended. The grand, seemingly unreachable opportunities are no longer distant, scattered lights. They are coordinates you are charting with precision, guided by an internal compass that always points toward expansion. Consider the experience of Alex, our dedicated seeker, sitting in the profound stillness achieved after weeks of intentional energetic work. The pervasive internal noise, which used to sound like a constant static hum demanding immediate, anxious attention, has subsided into a quiet backdrop. That frantic, low-grade anxiety that once spiked whenever the mail arrived or a large payment was looming has been replaced by an unsettling, almost boring calmness. This newfound tranquility is not a form of apathy or resignation. It is the deep stillness of a powerful gyroscope spinning in perfect equilibrium. Alex notes that the complex, high-stakes decisions that once required days of emotional wrestling, the agonizing choice between cautious stagnation and purposeful, expansive movement, now possess an inherent clarity. The path forward no longer relies on the sheer exhaustion of forcing disparate elements together, but on the subtle, intuitive sensation of sensing the line of least resistance. This clarity stems from an unstated, deeply felt confidence that resources, both tangible and intangible, will flow toward the point of highest intention, provided the underlying channel of consciousness is clean and ethical. The old self, governed by scarcity, saw every expense as a painful extraction, a diminishing of finite reserves. The evolving self sees purposeful spending as a directed current, an investment in future vibrational returns, understanding that wisely deployed capital must generate value for others before it can amplify value for the self. When a significant, unexpected business opportunity recently presented itself to Alex, requiring a substantial upfront commitment of time and resources, the old programming, that reflexive, knee-jerk fear of too much risk, flickered briefly, a faint, residual shadow. But the shadow failed to take hold. The core identity had shifted. The person now evaluating the investment was no longer defined by previous financial setbacks or the arbitrary limits of a fearful past, but by an unshakable capacity for resourceful creation and consistent alignment. The entire frame of reference had inverted. The crucial question was no longer the paralyzing, fearful query, can I absorb the potential loss? But the empowering, growth-oriented inquiry, can I truly afford the creative stagnation that would result from refusing this necessary expansion? The meticulous organization Alex had previously enacted, clearing the cluttered financial channels and honoring the present resources with detailed attention, now acts as an energetic safety net, eliminating friction. The established order in the physical and digital landscape mirrors the increasing order and confidence in the mind, creating a powerful, self-reinforcing loop of capability. This congruence is the silent, high-performance engine of the high-frequency state. When the external world sends a synchronized signal, a perfectly timed contact, an idea that unlocks a hidden resource, an unexpected payment that arrives precisely when necessary, it is no longer dismissed as mere luck or coincidence. It is understood profoundly as resonance. The universe mirroring the coherent, high-fidelity signal Alex is now consistently emitting. This journey has been about moving from chaotic force to masterful flow. You are transitioning from a state of transactional existence, where every gain is painfully tied to immediate measurable effort, to a state of transcendent flow, where sustained effort aligns perfectly with inherent purpose and desired outcomes accelerate effortlessly. The heavy armor of financial defensiveness has been conclusively shed, replaced by the light, powerful current of alignment. What remains is a final, compelling realization of what the sustained mastery implies for your ultimate freedom, an intentional design of your prosperous future. The necessary foundations are laid, the high-performance machine is humming, and the trajectory is now unambiguously clear. The quiet certainty that now settles over Alex is far more valuable than any sum deposited in the bank. It is the deep, cellular assurance that the chaos of the external world, the sudden market fluctuations, the unexpected downturns, the competitive frenzy, can no longer penetrate the sovereign territory of the inner mind. The transformation was never about acquiring an object, but about recovering a state of being. Alex sits, not at the helm of a struggle, but at the nexus of profound, self-regulated flow. The organized financial desk, the clear vision board, and precise, intentional budgets are merely the terrestrial manifestations of an impeccably tuned internal mechanism. The scarcity consciousness, which was an endless, nagging alarm bell demanding frantic activity, has been completely silenced, replaced by the resonant, steady hum of coherence. The true test of this new identity arrived not with dramatic crisis, but with a subtle whisper of panic. A key business partner, integral to a new venture, abruptly withdrew support, creating a momentary void and potential for severe financial friction. The old programming, the instinctive, tightening knot of fear in the chest, the immediate slide into self-recrimination and aggressive damage control, began as familiar ascent. For a fleeting second, the muscle memory of anxiety threatened to engulf the present moment. But this time, something fundamental was different. Alex did not respond. The old self was no longer the active agent. Instead, a serene, observant perspective took over. The mind, trained by weeks of high-frequency visualization and emotional accounting, instantly recognized the emotional signature of scarcity and refused to engage with it. The response was not defensive but expansive. Without the draining consumption of anxiety, the mental resources remained clear and available. Within hours, Alex saw the withdrawal not as a destructive blow, but as an energetic clearing, a necessary pruning that opened space for a more aligned, more innovative solution that hadn't been visible before. The financial obstacle was swiftly dissolved by an immediate, intuitive shift in strategy executed with surgical precision and zero emotional cost. This was the ultimate realization. The true wealth acquired was emotional energy. The energy once wasted on worry and fear was now entirely dedicated to creative problem-solving and purposeful expansion. This experience synthesizes the entirety of the journey. The transformation is complete when a feeling of abundance precedes the evidence of it. You are truly wealthy not when your accounts are overflowing, but when your nervous system is calm, certain, and creatively engaged, regardless of the momentary external data. Financial mastery, then, is the unwavering commitment to this internal frequency, understanding that the external flow is simply a lagging indicator of clarity and purity of your energetic broadcast. The profound implication of this realization is the dissolution of the myth that prosperity requires sacrifice. Instead, prosperity is revealed as a natural, inevitable byproduct of a life lived in purposeful alignment and ethical resonance. When you cease fighting the current and instead learn to navigate by the stars of your highest values, the universe not only stops resisting you, but actively conspires on your behalf. Money ceases to be the goal. It becomes the fuel that accelerates your intended impact in the world, an energy that attracts proportionate returns because it is being channeled with integrity and grace. This is the ultimate freedom you were seeking. It is not freedom from responsibility, but the glorious, generative freedom of choosing your highest response in every moment. It is the awareness that you hold the dial, the power to select the frequency of your reality continuously. Let this deep, embodied certainty be your anchor. Remain vigilant in your gratitude, steadfast in your intentional organization, and unwavering in your commitment to linguistic possibility. Trust the stillness you have created. It is the most fertile ground on earth. You have moved beyond wishing for abundance. You now are the frequency of wealth, and that truly is the end of the struggle and the beginning of boundless creation. Sustain this signal, and your financial life will forever reflect the limitless nature of the abundance you consciously choose to embody.